Hey, everybody. Craig Cottle, Director of Nature Reliance School. I wanted to get the NRS, the Nature Reliance School instructor cadre together and talk about a few things so that we could all get a better understanding of who is teaching or assisting in teaching classes here at Nature Reliance School. So, what follows is a Zoom meeting between all of us where I asked them all the same three questions, and there's just some general conversation that happens along the way as well. So I hope you enjoy it. And as always, we look forward to having you join us in class. You'll see one or multiples of us in various classes throughout the year. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments. We love sharing information and being able to help you spend more time outdoors. Come on, join in. Let's learn about the cadre together. All right, everybody, welcome to the Nature Reliance School YouTube channel. What I wanted to do with this particular video, as you can see, is bring the instructor cadre that were able to make it tonight together so we can hear from each of these guys and gals. I've got 2 or 3 questions that I'm going to ask everybody here, and then I'm sure we're going to have regular conversation as well. Those 3 questions are, how long have you been involved with NRS? What classes do you teach or do you help teach at NRS? And what is your favorite thing about NRS? So we voted as a group, and Tracy Trimble, who's been here the longest, is going to be the first to go. Are you okay with that, Mr. Trimble?
Sure thing.
So, Tracy, questions. How long have you been involved with NRS?
Since the beginning, in terms of year, I get, what was it, 2007? I don't know. I can't remember exactly when you started the official name of it, but about 2006, 7, something like that. And got started teaching land nav. I don't know if I taught the first land navigation class for Nature Reliance School, but one of the first ones, and pretty much been doing it ever since. Land navigation is my primary class that I teach. And then the last year or year and a half, we've been doing a ham radio class, and I've been kind of spearheading that up with Sam Bulick below me here. And then as far as the other classes, I try to help out whenever I can, try to get in the way whenever I can when things are running too smooth. I hate for it to go, perfect. So I jump in and mess things up. But in terms of why I like Nature Reliance School is the people, first and foremost, but getting involved with Nature Reliance School from the start has exposed me to many different topics that I never was. One of them is tracking. Never did do a lot of tracking at all. The other one that came along that that really pushed me to see how everything's interrelated was the nature immersion class. And you kind of pointed us all to the Master Naturalist program out of UK. That has been an eye-opening to see how everything interlocks with one another. So just the people, and then being exposed to many, many different topics out there.
All right. You are not the first to teach land navigation for Nature Reliance School, but the reason you are teaching land navigation is because the guy who taught it first sucked so bad.
Oh, yeah.
Remember?
Well, yeah,
we will
was he
leave
the
him name.
first?
Remember, he taught that class. Well, you were there, weren't you?
I think so. I didn't know if
That was
that
out
was
at Brian's farm. That
yeah,
class
that
sucks so bad.
yeah. That wasn't a full-blown land navigation class, but yeah, I remember the one you're talking about.
Well,
Yeah.
that's why we sought something else out besides that for
Yeah.
land navigation.
Yeah. I remember now.
So yeah, good answers, man. All right, let's go around the clock here because I think everybody else is around the same. Well, no, I bet Dave Robinson. You ready, Dave?
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Just some technical difficulties.
Dave. So
Yes.
questions. How long have you been involved with NRS?
About 5 years, starting going on 6, I guess, this year. I think I did the wilderness survival level 1 at uh, Natural Bridge in like
Hmm.
2018. That was a indoctrination. It rained one night, actually all night, and then snowed the next night. And then it was almost 60 degrees on the test day. So a lot of strange and wonderfuls. Um, Uh, as far as the classes, I've helped out with level one survival wilderness. Let's see. So I'm like the shy guy of the bunch. I like to be more behind the scenes kind of stuff, but you'll see me out at the survival level one tracking. Sear, if anybody comes to it, we'd love to have you. It's always fun. Um, yeah, I just try to help out in whatever capacity I can. I don't necessarily lead any specific classes or anything. You might catch me doing a slingshot demo during rendezvous. As far as my favorite thing about the classes or about Nature Alliance, I guess would be like Tracy said, it's the people. It's just such a, I don't know, kind of a come together with just all different backgrounds of people that come in, and we learn from them just as much as they learn from us. I mean, not every class or like a level one wilderness survival class, it won't be the same today, this year as it was, 2 years ago, just because, gear changes, the weather or whatever, the people, that's the big thing. Um, you know, Another thing I guess I'd say I really like about it is, the way Craig's brought about the teaching is, it's bite-sized, digestible. You learn it. Especially Tracy with land nav. I begged and pleaded to get into that land nav class the first year, and Craig was getting annoyed with me. So he's like, "If we have to drag you out to the woods ourselves, we'll get you taught." But no, it's just so easy to learn from these guys, all of us. You learn a lot from the cadre. I'll let them speak about their stuff, whatever. But it's just such a good group of people to learn from. So I'll hush and go on to the next.
So that class at Natural Bridge, that was the one that Jerry was in, right? The guy that
Yes,
okay. I don't know if we can even say some of the things he talked about in that class.
probably
I don't know
not.
if I want those on video.
Yeah. There's some things it's campfire talk, and that's definitely probably one of them.
Right.
Come to a class, and we might talk to you guys about that. There's always something fun going on at campfire.
All right. Who's next? Anybody have any idea who would be next?
Well,
Sam Wade.
I was just doing some Facebook history tracking, and I may have been around since as early as 2015. So
Oh wow. Okay.
yeah, I kind of got started with NRS doing the tactical survival thing, that the mashup class we did with Rodney Van Zant and Iron Sight Defense. And I did that for several years, to the point I think that's kind of where I got my toe in the water with the instructing side. As I'd showed up for that class so many times, y'all just started giving me jobs to do. But that's kind of one of the best ways to do it. I think you just keep showing up, and eventually you pick up things and you get to start helping out. Um, some of the classes that I enjoy helping with, obviously, uh, with the tactical survival thing, with my background, that kind of meshes right in. I enjoy. I've not had a chance to get into many classes this last year, but I like doing the level one survival and meeting new faces when they come in. And then I've helped out with several tracking classes over the years. And so that's kind of my forte. I need to start coming to some other classes that are outside my wheelhouse, just so I can pick up new skills. And my favorite thing about NRS is just the fact that we are kind of open to teaching any and anybody that wants to learn, and we all kind of come together and learn new things together, and that's the best part about NRS to me.
You want to tell everybody why uh, tactical survival is in your wheelhouse? What do you do for a living?
So I'm full time sworn law enforcement here in the state of Kentucky. I work for a small city outside of Lexington, and have been doing that. And actually, I run their firearms program at this point. I've been doing that for a couple of years now, and been instructing firearms and tactics for about 5 years now.
Tactical survival was one of the coolest things that we ever did. I
Really
miss
good to
those
me.
classes. I talked to Rodney 2 days ago, texted him and said, "Hey man, I miss you, brother." That kind of stuff, and he called me immediately. So
Oh, absolutely. I need to call him. It's been too long.
yeah, yeah, he's a good dude. All right, who's next? Does anybody have an idea?
I think I'm somewhere around that era of where Dave Robinson was at.
Go for it.
I believe it was 2017, I think, is when you came and did a 1 day workshop for EKU Wildlife Society. And
This meeting is being recorded.
I was there for that. And then I think my first full like 3 day class weekend was in 2018 for a tracking class. And I think some of the other instructors that aren't here right now, but I think Wayne and Clark were both there at that class. Sam Wade, you were there helping out, I believe. Yeah, so definitely a good group of people just right off the bat. I'm gonna do the questions out of order and say that's probably like one of the reasons I really liked NRS is kind of like everybody has said, the people, but just taking it a step further is just everybody kind of, you can tell right off the bat that everybody's there to learn and just get down in the dirt and learn together, both instructors and students, and whoever's else is there helping out and whatnot. Particularly in a tracking class, you're going to be in the dirt. But that became readily apparent right off the bat. Everybody was there to have a good time, and there's been great friendships. Have seen some other more serious relationships happen through NRS, which has been cool to watch. But yeah, to go back to the second question, I, I just try to get to as many, if not all, the classes that I can and help out where I can. Do a few small segments here and there, maybe in some wilderness safety and survival level 1 and 2 type stuff. In nature immersion, I helped out this past year and taught a stream ecology segment there. But yeah, just look for me. I'm around pretty much any classes that aren't right smack in the middle of hunting season. Craig, you're muted.
Same thing we did with Sam Wade, Davey. Tell everybody why you're a good choice to talk about water stuff if you don't care.
So I'm a fisheries biologist for the state at the moment, and yeah, I study fish and aquatic macroinvertebrates and whatnot. So water quality and water health and stuff like that is within my wheelhouse for sure.
Question while we're here, guys, everybody. Is it more confusing for me to switch between this speaker view? Is it making it worse? You all tell me.
We can't see that on our screen.
Okay. All right. So who's going to go next? Somebody volunteer. All right. Thanks for volunteering, Todd. You're up.
Well, first question is I don't really know, but it's been a long time that I've been I guess y'all can hear me,
Yes.
a follower and friend of NRS. I don't know if it was called NRS at that time,
It was.
but it was the Dan Depot Omega. I found NRS through YouTube. I believe, I want to say I was overseas when I found y'all, because I had been looking. Man, I looked at so many programs and I said, man, this is jacked up. These people are gonna get somebody killed. But I found Craig and Tracy later on through that, and but I didn't take a class until I retired. And my first class was the very first nature immersion class. And I want to say that was in 2019, somewhere around there. I don't really help teach or anything. I just try to help like Dave said, behind the scenes, move stuff, do what I'm told. But I really like NRS. I like the people. The cadre is so diverse. There's so many smart people. Just a collection of the backgrounds that you have here. I mean, you have law enforcement, you have scientists. It's just really good diversity of what can be taught, and the experts collected together to teach it. I look for a program that, because I've always been an outdoors, hunting, fishing, camping, rucking type of person, and I wanted to be safer doing it. I'm getting old, not body don't hold up like it used to, and I just wanted to get safer, and I found it with NRS. I'd like to get more involved. There's a travel, there's a distance problem, but I'm anticipating being able to help more from that going forward. It's just a good bunch of people in there, and they're actually helping others.
It's kind of hard when you're in Alabama, right?
Yeah, South Alabama.
Yeah.
I'm at mile marker 19. I'm 19 miles from the Florida border.
Really? I didn't know you were that far down there.
Way down. That's what brought me to NRS, and it was a very long time ago. I began by interacting with Craig online through like YouTube.
Was that on Dan's Depot YouTube, or is that NRS YouTube?
No, this was before NRS. This was Dan's Depot.
This was before NRS YouTube.
Right.
NRS has been going since 2006.
Yeah, these were Dan. I found you on Dan Depot and Omega Gear. Does that sound right?
That's right.
That's how I found out about NRS. Was through that. I don't think you had NRS videos back then.
Probably didn't have the channel back then. No, probably didn't have the YouTube.
It was a long time ago. I mean, a very long time ago.
That was back when Dan's Depot had 25,000 subscribers, and I thought that was the bee's knees. And now we've got 100,000 on NRS, so it's kind of good stuff.
I remember watching a video way back when you and Tracy had went to a tactical tracking course somewhere. I don't know if that video's still out. It was a long time.
Yeah, it's still out there. Tier group down in Louisiana with John Hurth.
Yeah, probably. It's been a long time, but like I say, until I retired, the way I had to travel, I couldn't come to in-person classes. Had to do my training by watching you online. So, that's about all I got. It's other than getting to work with the people you got in the cadre allows me to learn cheaply from experts. I hate to use that word experts, but those guys in the fields that they're in, college professors and extension agents and biologists and law enforcement, it's just been great for me.
All right, let's go ahead and knock out other Alabama. Leslie, you want to go next?
Sure. But I'm a teacher, so I wrote my answers and I will read them.
You got to be kidding me. Come on.
No. Let's see. I've been involved in NRS classes since Wilderness Safety and Survival Level 1 in August of 2020. Thanks to Cousin Todd, who said, hey, let's drive to Kentucky and go camping. I have since participated in as many classes as possible. Level 2, level 3, bushcraft, nature immersion, well, the list, except for SEER and tactical. We'll get there. As far as teaching, I had a little cameo appearance at our last summer nature immersion, teaching about sketching in the field, taking visual notes, which is a wonderful exercise if you want to visually study something and really learn it, from trees to bugs to whatever you want to draw. But I think I'm like Dave and Todd there, a little behind the scenes. I like helping people solve their problems as they face them in the other classes, whether it's, the stress of carrying a litter, or, how to think through things. So maybe just being a voice of comfort and, hey, you're going to be fine as you meet this challenge, think it through. Mostly I learn, and it's amazing. Even this last rendezvous, Tracy said something so simple. And on my last camping trip, I was repeating it in my head. Heat rises. Duh. So every time I go, I learn something. Something I already know, and I just relearn it somehow. And that to me is just the amazing part of it. You got to be open to learn, but if you are, man, you're going to get a bucket load when you come to these classes. My favorite thing about NRS, I really did write my answers. First of all, this is personal to me. It's a personal gift to me. And I still count it very much an honor to be in this cadre. NRS under Craig's leadership is as true and as real as you can get in exposing people to the beauty and the vastness and the providence and the power of nature. It is managed in humility, a never-ending pursuit of learning, a confidence that comes only with experience, and an openness to everybody, anybody who wants to join in and learn together. This, the cadre are service oriented and so void of arrogance. It's amazing, because everybody in this crew right here could stand and be, I won't use that word, but very arrogant, because they are professionals, right? Top of their field, masters in your field. It's amazing. So this school that I at one time knew nothing about is now a very important group of brothers and sisters to me that I adore.
I said, that's pretty awesome. Sorry, I was on mute again. Thank you, Leslie.
You're welcome.
Who's next? Volunteers?
Next.
Go for it, Patrick.
Well, I started with NRS in 2020. Survival 1 was the first class. I kind of, like others, behind the scenes mostly, but got to teach an outdoor cooking class this year, which was really great. I do like to assist with the Survival 1 classes. I think my answer to the third question is quite similar to most that's in this group, is the people. And I'll use Survival 1, the first class I've ever taken, which, I mean, it brought me back to more classes, just the people that were involved in that class and NRS. It's, you know, I think about let's learn together quite a lot when I'm in NRS, just because that's truly what we do, and it's at the forefront of everything that NRS is about. And uh, like most have said, we learn from everybody else, and kind of as a group around the campfire, we learn a lot of fun things as well. Um, but I think mostly it's also the environment. It's down to earth. Um, it's not so fast paced where you're afraid to ask a question. If you don't quite get something, you can ask it and feel comfortable and confident that your answer is going to be or your question is going to be answered, and you're going to walk away, um, you know, better for it. And I also, and I use this um, just kind of as a personal note, but one of the most rewarding things that I've done for the last several years um, was Scout Tracker 2 class. I mean, it was a challenging class, and the feeling that I got coming away from that class, just that completing the class, is not a feeling that I've had since then. So, just the sheer challenge of some of the classes is just a great feeling to get through them and know that you're better off for them for the knowledge that you've gained. So I think that for me is why I keep coming back and why I'm really, like Leslie said, honored to be a part of this group as well. So.
Real quick.
Yes.
Leslie, let me go back to you a second. Why in the world would we ask you to teach sketching?
Because I've been practicing since I was 5.
Give the other answer, please.
Oh, I'm on my 25th year of teaching at local community college, art and design. So.
Patrick, what do you do for a living?
Work for the University of Kentucky Extension or Cooperative Extension Services with 4-H youth development.
Awesome. Who's next? Who's left? Sambo, Eric, who's up?
I don't mind. I'll jump in there. All right. So let's see. To answer the first question, how long have I been with NRS? I'm trying to figure that out. It's either been 5 or 6 years now. I think this spring may be 5. I'm not sure. Anyways, the first time I met Craig, let me back up. First time I heard Craig was actually on one of your podcasts. You had someone on there, and I was following that, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then the first time I actually met Craig was actually at a library. Your library presentations you had, and it was kind of funny because it's like, to be honest with you, sometimes with the local library, you don't know what you're going to get. So I was like, well, let's see what's going to happen here. To be fair, and so, but that turned out to be awesome. And that your openness and your welcomeness definitely encouraged me to come to a class, and that progressed from there. My first actual class I took from NRS, that was actually a private with you, Craig, with the doing a tracking class.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, I knew I was going to stay. I was, with no doubt, I was going to stay because just the quality of instruction was awesome. Let's see. As far as the classes that I'm involved with, and as far as instruction go, I sometimes get to assist in the land nav classes with Tracy Trimble there. Anytime he seems to need a vocal break or whatever, that's a lot of times where I could jump in and help out. Let's see, also assist with wilderness survival, but definitely teaching in the ham radio class. That's a very popular class. In fact, we got to get that more on the books, I think. Also heavily involved in SEER. That's a fun one if you ever get the opportunity for that. And generally involved with almost anything else on some level. If I'm available that weekend, I'm there. That's kind of where I'm at. The NRS has become a major outlet for me as far as getting out into the woods and just relieving stress and just getting away from it all. It's a good juxtaposition to my regular everyday life. So I like it like that. To answer the third question, what's my favorite thing about NRS? Is really just a lot of the people. I've made some really good friends here. That goes as far as the instructors, the students. Um, Everyone's always willing to share. You never have anybody being very clicky and going, well, I'm not going to give you this bit of information. You're not, no, no, just everybody's willing to share and jump in and share and help you understand something if you don't know what it is. And I got to say as well, on a personal note, since everybody's kind of sharing some of that stuff, I think some of the hardest laughs and longest laughs I've had have actually been around the campfires at NRS. Just silly things and silly things that people say and how we get along, and it's just it's good. The NRS is a special place, it really is.
Can I add in that you've probably got the loudest laugh of everybody here?
That's probably the truth. That is probably the truth.
All right. Eric Comley, you're up.
Yeah, so my name is Eric Comley. Like Patrick, I work for the University of Kentucky, the Cooperative Extension Service. I am a county 4-H youth development agent, and I've been involved in NRS since it was Halloween weekend, October of 2020. We had a class, Patrick and I went to that class together. It was October 30th through November 1st. It was a great class. And I remember it's one of those things where I'd been, camping and hiking and doing those kinds of things all of my life. And then I hung that hammock up and got in there, and it was unseasonably cold that night. And I remember thinking, I'm not nearly as prepared as I thought I was going to be during this thing. And I'll actually look back at the picture, and it's me at like 3 o'clock in the morning. And I remember that there were coyotes that were nearby, and I was really cold and thinking, I think I need to start paying attention in class. And then what classes do I teach? I guess as recently as this year, I'm the primary instructor for the nature immersion class, but um, I only say that because Craig has put me in that spot. But there's other people. Leslie did a great job during that class and did the sketching portion of it. Davey did the aquatic invertebrates and the fishes, so it was great to have him in the field doing those kinds of things. Craig led us, section on trees, and so even though Craig kind of put me in the spot to be that lead instructor, it was an opportunity for a lot of the cadre um, to be able to lead sections of that and really show off the talents, the professionalism, the knowledge that they have. So it was, I got to be at the top, but I was 1A surrounded by 1B, 1C, 1D, and everybody else that was there. So really great to have that kind of talent in the group. What's my favorite thing about NRS? It's definitely the people, but there's so many other things that I think that come to mind. Obviously, the personalities that we get the chance to be around, not only as far as the cadre is concerned, but the people that are coming in to take classes. I mean, you meet a variety of personalities, and that's what we want. I think that NRS is really, it's an invitation for anybody to come in and be a part of really a family environment. Those level 1 classes are opportunities for anybody, regardless of walk of life, regardless of talent, regardless of background, for them to come in and be able to do those classes and walk away from that with an incredible amount of knowledge. So I like it because I like NRS because there's opportunity for everybody. Um, you're, you can come in and do a number of things. And the great thing about, Craig and the cadre is that all of us take very seriously that people want to learn when they come in. And so we, do our best to try and either tell them, give them the knowledge that they want, or lead them in the direction where they can go and seek out that knowledge and apply it for themselves. I enjoy obviously the opportunity to be outside. Enjoy the opportunity to talk to the cadre and all of the people that come in. I'd love to hear their stories, love to hear what exactly they're all about, their backgrounds, what they're coming in to do. But just when I think about NRS, my favorite thing really is just the opportunity, that everything about it, the entire experience of being with Nature Reliance School is really an opportunity, and you can see that in a variety of ways. So that's about it.
All right. So everybody in general got a question. Somebody needs to volunteer and answer. 2 or 3 of you all said something about strange and wonderfuls. What in the heck is that? Who wants to answer that question?
I call them Mormon fuzzies.
Mormon fuzzies. You want to explain to the? Yeah, go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, I'll answer. So strange and wonderful means that it, I guess most applicably, it's in the testing portion, but it could be at any point. Survival, just day-to-day life means that everything is not going to go perfect. And Craig has a way of adding, and along with the cadre, adding some strange and wonderful to every experience. Some of those things can take you down to the bottom. And some of those things can really give you an idea of how you can overcome and achieve. Just recently, we were involved in the Wilderness One, and a friend of mine who is actually a leader at one of the 4-H camps, Craig, came through and literally just put his foot right on this fire and just walked past it like it didn't even exist. And he just stared down at it and he said, I built that fire. And so it was an opportunity for him to kind of start at the bottom, figure out that there are things that need to be overcome, and he did overcome. So it's an addition to every experience.
Something else we haven't talked about is the land. Davey, you made me think about this. I think Davey, I know Tracy, obviously, Davey, Sam Wade, Dave Robinson. Tell us about the Girl Scout camp, because we talk about that from time to time. What's the Girl Scout camp?
You're talking about the Winchester Girl Scout camp?
Yeah.
So many years ago, Craig was blessed with the opportunity to hold kind of stewardship over that Girl Scout camp, and they allowed us to go out there and have class as long as we kind of kept it up. And I say Craig did all of it, keeping up with that Girl Scout camp. And it was a good piece of property that we were able to kind of go to and work at. There was lots of tracking classes I did there, and several survival classes we did out there. And that was actually in Winchester. But it was a good place to start, I think, for us. And I don't know if we've been back to that lately. It's been, how many years has it been since we've been at that Girl Scout camp?
Oh man.
It's like 2018.
Is it really? I was going to say 6. That was my guess. Yeah. So that's about right. I was actually there about 3 months ago, but it's not being used by anybody at the current time, anyone. For those that are listening that have been to classes there, that are listeners or followers of Nature Reliance School on the YouTube channel, it's all grown up. There's sycamore trees completely around the pavilion, and covering it up. The parking lot, the roads in and out are completely covered in grass. You cannot see any gravel anywhere. So kind of interesting. Who wants to say anything about the land where we teach now? Anybody want to say anything about that?
It's
Yeah, I'll say something.
Yeah, go ahead, Sam.
Beautiful place. It's got a lot of history, deeply rooted Kentucky history there, and landowner is very willing to share both his land and stories of that history. It's been a good spot.
Sam, you're going to say something too?
Yeah,
So,
I'll piggyback off that. I'll say because that was good. Just yeah, say again, conveyance on the landowner. He's extremely generous. Like letting us be out there. I mean, I think rough estimation, and it's probably a gross underestimation, is that it's about 1,500 acres of property, and I mean we just run around with like exploring. I mean, really get to spread your wings out, and like there's different terrain, there's different, just if you want to find cliffs, if you want to find caves, if you want to find really fresh water, if you want to find, you name it, it's there. And so just that availability to us as far as a training location has been fantastic, really has.
what's the addition of the GP tent done for us, you all?
Been a phenomenal place for both kind of classroom features during any kind of inclement weather, and just a place to group everybody up outside of the weather, whether it's just hot blazing sun or the biggest downpour you can imagine. And then we might send you right out into the biggest downpour you can imagine from that tent, but you might get a moment's reprieve inside.
I'll say this as far as the piggybacking off again there, Davey, is the like for the ham radio course, right? When we send everybody out on different points and stuff like that, thanks to Tracy Trimble and all the power supplies and all the things we've got there, we're able to reach out and communicate all over, right? And so when we send everybody out, it gives us a central location to operate out of. As far as tracking where everybody's at and everything else makes it a lot easier. So I mean, from the side that nobody probably thinking about or very aware of, from the cadre instructor side, it definitely helps, right? It gives us a place to really operate out of and gives us a place to kind of keep everything going.
Something you all are not aware of, I'll go ahead and tell you now. When I ordered the radios for the ham radio class, for the ones that had ordered a radio for class, I ordered the wrong thing. And they sent me one of those bases that holds 12 radios.
Oh, really?
So I got, because I mean, it was a deal and a half, and I realized why when I got it in. So we now have a nice, like, 12 unit base with 12 radios.
Oh, wow.
Because I got them separate radios and pushed them out. Because when I got that in, it came with a radio and one base for those 12 radios. So I couldn't send those out to the people that ordered radios for class. So I had to order them separate radios. And I started to send that back, and I thought, nah, we'll just use that at camp.
Yeah.
So we'll have a bunch of radios now moving forward for whoever needs one.
Nice. Fantastic.
That'll definitely help out with like the safety that we always try to ensure for everybody.
Yeah, that's another thing. I was hoping Clayton, Clark would be here tonight, because he's added some really good safety features and stuff of that nature to class. What are we missing, you all, that we would like to say about Nature Reliance School? What are we missing that we haven't talked about tonight?
I'll weigh in on this because as someone who's looked at other places and other trainings as far as NRS, like kind of Dave mentioned it there, Dave Robinson. Like as far as safety goes, safety is one of those things that I gotta say is really built in. And again, this is probably something that not everybody sees from the student side of it, because I think it's just not something they have to deal with. But like how many meetings that we have prior to a class, what we talk about as far as safety concerns, things that we have to be aware of. Also, if there's any particular students that have health issues that we need to be aware of. I mean, everything is really thought out, and I mean, like for me, that is such a big thing. I mean, I've seen other schools, and we won't mention names out of politeness, but where they purposely like, oh yeah, well, it's first night of class, and we got 10 people to quit. Is that what you're aiming for? Is that what you're trying to gain, right? Or would you want people coming away educated, safe, learning and growing? I mean, yeah. So safety and just general just wellness. I gotta say it's just that's hard to convey in a video. If somebody's watching this and going, should I come to NRS? I don't think that this even does it justice. The best thing you do is come to at least a day class or a 3-day class and really experience it for yourself, and you'll see that this is just a great place.
Awesome.
If you don't care, I'll pick up on that a little bit in terms of the class. One of the things that I've always been impressed with Nature Reliance School, and it comes from the leadership down from Craig, is that we do a kind of a survey thing at the end of each class, and we try to get people to give us feedback. And I know that sometimes that can be aggravating. It's been a long weekend. You really want to get on the road, but we take those serious and we read through them and we adjust class, add things to class, take things away that based upon the feedback. So to me, that's been really important in developing the classes over the years to get better and better and better product out there for people. And then on the flip side of that is whenever the cadre have been involved in a class, once everyone leaves, a lot of times we sit around and kind of do a after action review. And we have some heart to heart conversations. Hey, this worked, this didn't work. And just over the years, we have really produced, I think, a really good product in the classes that we teach. And it's only going to get better.
What else? Anybody else?
I was just gonna, if I could, kind of do like a little U-turn back to, what I was mentioning earlier with that rewarding feeling. Part of that is, as you asked for the definition of, strange and wonderfuls. I think about those strange and wonderfuls all the time during the class and even after the class, and that it's because of those things and those the way that you implement those things that creates that rewarding feeling. But it's also just like what Tracy just said, is it's not the same every time. So coming back to a class, there's things that adjust for everyone's benefit, and to even the instructor's benefit. I mean, it's constantly adapting and learning and reevaluating things to make it better. I don't think it doesn't stay stagnant. So I mean, I just feel like all those things kind of combined together with what NRS stands for and does in those classes produces just that great feeling afterwards, and you just want to keep coming back for more. So
Anybody else?
I'll say this. Let me throw something kind of in that vein a little bit. Is because I'll admit that I'm an avid people watcher. I like watching people, and I gotta say is as far as these classes, especially classes with high duress and challenges, is that people's true personalities come out, and I find that interesting. You find those that rise to the challenge, those who, if there's tension within a group, I'll say that we've seen some families that come and show up, and and as terrible as it is, it's enjoyable just to see how the dynamic develop, and we'll just leave it there. But people's true personalities come out when things get challenging. It's just fun to watch, and it's part of the enjoyment of the classes as well.
I'll kind of tack onto that too, as far as watching students learn and stuff. That they've been challenged, and they may be struggling or whatever, and then somebody comes along and kind of guides them to, hey, try this, or they give them a saying, just like what Leslie was saying earlier about the heat rises with what Tracy had told her. But like literally seeing those aha moments, like when that light bulb goes on and they're like, I got this. And then you just see them just, it's like a wave of, emotions for them, or just, they finally get it, and they just, they're a duck to water, however, whatever cliche saying you want to put in there. But it's really cool to be there to see those moments, when families start clicking together and stuff.
Yeah.
It is so rewarding on Saturday evening whenever someone comes through land navigation class. They have no clue coming in, and they admit that, and then by the end of Saturday, they're walking through the woods by themselves, trying and finding points and everything. That is rewarding from an instructor standpoint. Yeah, even in the dark.
All right, guys and gals, anything else? You have the floor for this one. So
thinking about class expansion, you know, I see all the videos that Todd and Leslie put together when they go out on their kayaking trips, and I'm just waiting on when's NRS Swamp Edition. Like when are we going to do Swamp Edition?
When are we going to Alabama, or when are we doing it in canoes?
Come on.
What are you asking there?
When are we doing Safety and Survival Swamp Edition? That's what I want to know.
Come on.
I've been trying to get a canoe kayak one on the schedule for years, and I don't know.
I'm hoping Tracy comes down.
Let's do it.
A little one in the spring.
We've talked about it, Todd. We're going to try to make it work.
What else, you all?
Craig, before we get out of here, kind of, if you don't care, give us some indication of classes coming up.
Oh wow, yeah.
Can you do that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you got one coming up that I'm really, really looking forward to, that you've been trying to put together for a bit, and that's the man tracking.
Oh,
it's
okay,
gonna be,
yeah.
It's going to be a full weekend of nothing but man tracking, and I've been looking forward to that for a long time.
So, thanks for asking. We get the normal stable of classes. For those that have been looking forward, the schedule is not done. There's a lot that it will continue to be added, but there's a lot on there right now. The regular stable of survival, land nav, and regular scout tracker class are all on the schedule. We need to put another land nav in the fall, which we don't have that yet. Ham's not on the schedule yet, which we need to do. The new stuff this year, there's several new things this year. One, we're going to do at the end of February, we're going to do what I'm calling fire, and more fire. We're going to do bow drill, hand drill, lighters, flint and steel, every way you can make fire. That's a 1-day course. We're going to do the outdoor cooking class again with Patrick. So that's going to be on there again. I think that one's in the fall. A couple of additions are, there's going to be a 2 week-long courses. One is called Living Off the Land. The other one is called Wild Woodcraft Week. Living Off the Land is going to be a week that follows a regular wilderness safety and survival level 1. So you come in, if you want to, you can come in for 3 days of safety and survival and then stay for the week. And then we're going to have another class in the fall that's going to be basically what we used to call our bushcraft class. We're going to call it Wild Woodcraft because of the book's going to be coming out. So one of the things we learned is that Wild Woodcraft has better play on Google than bushcraft does, believe it or not. So the publisher did a really good job of titling that book, like a really good job. But so we're going to have Wild Woodcraft weekend and then a Wild Woodcraft week that immediately follows that. That's to take care of some people that are coming outside the country. We've got 2 or 3 people that have been begging me for a week-long class from Europe. 2 people in particular from Canada that they can't just come down. They can't make that kind of trip for a weekend. So they've been begging me for week-long trips for years. So I finally got them on the calendar. And then to go to the class that Tracy mentioned is we're going to do a man tracking intensive. For years, we've been teaching Scout Tracker, which is basically reconnaissance plus tracking, camouflaging and tracking combo, which we will always continue to teach because I love that we do it. I love that we do that. Level 2 Scout Tracker. I want to do a level 3, which is a different animal in and of itself. But there's going to be a man tracking intensive, going to be a weekend full of man tracking, which will have a component at the end of it where we're going to objectively test everyone. My overreaching goal, over and above the benefit of taking the class, is I want to start to bring together all these agencies and units and different organizations that I've taught. One of the things that when I teach federal law enforcement, federal corrections, state law enforcement, local law enforcement, search and rescue, EMTs, paramedics, fire, I've taught all of them in tracking through the years, is they don't know one another are out there doing this. But there's at every level, particularly in the state of Kentucky and outside the state, people that are doing this, and I want to figure out a way to bring them together. So that's a lot of what this man tracking course is designed to do, is people from Blackburn, people from state SRT, Kentucky Fish and Wildlife, local law enforcement, firefighters that I've taught locally, all these people to be able to come together and go, okay, you all are resources, tracking resources for the state. So we'll see how that goes. And Sears on the calendar again. We've got that on the calendar. That will be another one that has, I don't know how else to say it, but that one has grown in quality exponentially since the first one, both in regards to safety as well as intensity and value for those that come to it. It's good. And I want to say this, everything is growing well from my perspective because of us here. One of the things that I think has grown out of the cadre coming together is the quality of what it is that we're doing. I think Tracy referred to it as a product of classes. Our quality is growing exponentially because we've got more eyes on, and we've got people that are over and above smarter than each and every one of us here in different aspects. So I can see you all are sharing jokes behind the scenes too, it looks like, which is pretty typical, but I love you all for that. So welcome to Nature Reliance School. This is how we do it. Are you all having this conversation in Zoom or on texting or what? All right. We'll leave it there then. Okay. Anything else? Did I answer your question, Mr. Trimble?
Yeah,
thank
that's good.
Yeah.
I will say one thing. Whenever you mentioned the original SEER class, Dave Robinson said something about he might be the shy one. I don't know about that, but I will say he's the fastest.
No doubt. No doubt. That guy's a woods ninja right there.
Oh my gosh.
I'm fast for like 5 seconds.
Don't ask you to run a marathon, right?
No.
Anything else, you all? You all have the floor. If not, I'll shut her down.
I can't believe Sam doesn't have something else to say.
Well, he's interjected himself about 4 times. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
You want me to talk more? I'll talk more.
All right, guys, we're going to do this together, okay? On 3, we're going to do the come on, join in, all right? 1, 2, 3. Come on. Join in.
Join
in.
in.
All right, that's terrible. Everybody shut up.
No, say, what did you expect? Come on, man.
All right, everybody, come on, join in. Let's learn together.